Hello and welcome to this product update live stream. My name is Bård and I have Peter with me from the front-end team here at Crystallize.
Hello, everyone.
So today this is quite an exciting topic for us, where we're introducing a new concept which we call flows. And basically, let's call it's a way to manage workflows, but it's a little bit more than that, because it's a way to orchestrate, do automations, a little bit similar to the concept that we have with fulfillment pipelines for orders, but also a little bit different. It's all API driven. It's basically, let's say, event-driven orchestration of items, so products or marketing content in Crystallize that you can listen to and manage states. So, should we just dive into and show some stuff, Peter? What do you think?
Yes, please.
And as you see, so flows are available here as a new concept in Crystallize, allowing you to define multiple types of flows like this. For example, a content quality flow could be, let's say you're authoring some new products. You need to verify the master data. When you're done, you put it into maybe storytelling for, let's say, adding images, videos, whatnot. And you can orchestrate things to be done, or then maybe finally send it to a publish workflow. Now, what I showed here is basically different states that a product can have, and a product can also belong to multiple flows, right? So it's not just a limit of one flow per item. Content quality is it's a good example, but translations, I think, is a beautiful example, because very often you author a product in the default language, let's say English, if that's well, your main language, and then once, let's say, the content quality is approved and you publish the main language, you maybe want to send it to one or more translation workflows. And they can have different states and different stakeholders, so that I could send the Norwegian translation to Peter, for example, and he can use some AI to translate that. And you can have different types of users that manage different flows. But okay, so let's do maybe an example here where, let's say we have this approval, just a simple approval workflow. So you have a draft state, you have an editing state, approved and published. Let's see how that could work. And if I go into, I don't know, let's take our famous Smeg robot. What I can do is, instead of just publishing here, I can send this item directly to a flow, and I'll send it to approval. I can choose which language, and this makes sense if you're doing translation types of workflows. But what if I send it like this? And maybe I'll do the dream pit also. I'm going to send this to approval. Okay. And then if we look at then our approval workflow, we see that we have two items here. And of course, now you did see that I have had the possibility to publish changes myself. But let's imagine and I didn't. What can you do then with the approval workflow here? I'm basically able to say, okay, let's put both of these into an editing state.
And then maybe I don't like that. Maybe I don't like it. Maybe I can just move them back with some comment. So I will just move them on my end here. I will add comment, not ready yet. because I don't want it to be editing yet. So it should be in the draft now.
Okay, so I kind of I failed, but what? And this is pretty cool because now on the Smeg robot, I can click on it, and here we see I added it to draft, moved to editing. Peter moved to draft and said, "This is not good enough." Okay, that will be better. And then, of course, I can do some changes, and then I can try again. And same with this. This is now okay, I hope. Add the comment, and if I'm then lucky, I mean, you have the different states for the different flows, and if Peter now, for example, gets a notification and want to move this to another state, you can use it like this just to manage states for organizing your content production, basically.
So I just did approve that.
Oh yeah. Move to approved, and then we see also the stages that has moved. Comment from Peter. Beautiful. That's entry level usage of flows. What if you want to do something more, and especially maybe for this content quality or translation? Because one thing is if I send something to translation flow, you can organize the state of this, meaning that Peter would then decide if it should be moved to the next stage based on his quality review of the. In this case, I guess this is a product and some marketing content. But what if you want to automate stuff and orchestrate? So what do we have in general in Crystallize is, of course, webhooks. So, and how does this work? Basically, we have here an endpoint for the webhook, which means that whenever something changes on a flow, it will be sent to that endpoint. This is where you can do your integration to Slack or do content quality checks, or maybe using some AI to do automatic translation. This is where you would plug in that. So what you could do is say that whenever something is hitting the translating stage, you can listen to a webhook. So we fire off a webhook whenever things change. Let me show again. If I move back, and if I move forward again, you see that you get an event that you can listen to. And here you get all the information about the product, what type it is, where it's moved from, etc. So this is where, yeah?
I can use these in the query editor, right?
I believe you can.
Okay, that's good. So I can, based on this information, I can fetch the data I want to use. Okay, that's nice.
But also, what if you want to know some more? Is there any possibilities there, or?
If I want to know some more about these specific items, yeah, I can query them. I can build a query in the editor with these IDs and information about the specific item.
Because basically now we're sending an empty payload, right? And then in general in Crystallize, you get isn't this the variables that are being sent to the query is being sent as the payload by default then? Which is basically the ID, the tenant ID, the stage, translation, Norwegian translating, the content ID, etc. So you can listen to this, send to ChatGPT or something like that, do an automation, translate it, but then also just move it to the next.
Sorry, like maybe send a message to Slack that something happened.
Yeah. So maybe it's two things. One, So I move here, fire off a webhook, then you do translation, and then once the translation is done, you move on the API side to done, right? So it's an automated step, quite useful. And then you can control the publishing yourself. For example, let's say everything is on the up and up. You can basically click or you can drag and have a stage that just publishes the items, and then you get everything live, or waiting for a date that is defined in the product if you want time-based publishing. So that's quite useful. And I think a couple of more things, because this is nice, but this means that you have to do a round trip, right? Because you don't, if I want to send a Slack notification, you probably want, I don't know, the name of who has moved it, things like this. So how do we do that, Peter, if we want to have more information than what's sent by default? Yeah, and you're famously on mute on a live stream.
Of course I am.
I know what you were saying, but
yeah, I wasn't to say exactly this, that we can build our own queries to fetch the information that we actually want to use. So maybe in this query, it's a nice example. Basically all the variables in the payload can be used here as variables and fetch the specific content that we want.
And here we have name of the product or item, name of the flow stage and the flow. And then we also fetch something from the audit trail, basically who did what when. That's kind of what we're saying here. Super useful to send to Slack, or if you just want to have a notification hooked up to Crystallize, you can just send this directly here. So this is the webhooks. That is, I mean, for those that are familiar with the pipelines in Crystallize, you kind of know the gist of it. It allows you to orchestrate either just manually setting a state or hooking up with external APIs. But what I did show was, okay, I'm doing a change to a product test. I'm able to publish this. That is fine, because there might be scenarios where you just want to have the flows for managing state, just organizing your products that are more or less ready to be published. And that would require no integration, just defining the flows and assigning the states. But if you're using the permissions here, so I guess this is a little bit the clue, where this role is limited to just being able to create an update. So I cannot publish, I cannot delete or unpublish. I'm also able to update flows. So I'm able to add something to the flows, but not able to publish. And this is a different state where I actually also set up a limitation that I just have access to the shop and stories. So just a subset of my product catalog. If I switch here to another browser where I'm logged in with this role, you will see that I get a different UI, meaning that I don't have all the functionality for this user. And this is quite useful, not necessarily only to restrict, Peter, you can't publish items, but it's to enforce the quality control routines, or minimize the chance of error. You don't necessarily want everybody to have permission to delete content. And here you can see that I'm able to work here. I can do a change. I'm not able to publish, but I'm able to push this to a flow. So this allows you to combine permissions with the workflows in Crystallize, basically. So it's quite handy both for organizing, optimizing, and automating content or product creation, basically. What else should we take a look at? Maybe let's create a flow from scratch just to show how that works.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Do we have an example? So basically, if I want to create a new flow, and now I'll be translation, and then I'll try to. Yeah, I am never able to write how that is.
You close.
You close, but no cigar. So this means that, but I was trying to write Czech.
Right? Yeah.
Which is your language. And obviously, I'm not able to do that translation, but it might be handy to have a flow for it. And you can choose also, and this is kind of useful because it might be that it's just stories. So let's say press releases or product updates, but maybe also products. And then
what does it mean here? Like, I can only add.
Yes. So when you are sending to a flow, the flows will be limited based on the shape. That if it's a particular product, and it could be, let's say you have a flow that creates a syndication to a third-party service, exporting a product or something like that, then you know that the data structure needs to match to be able to create a push to a third-party system, whatever it is. So it's useful to limit what type of document or product can be sent to the flow. So it's adding some logic there. And then we can do some like new translating in progress. Let's say you want to fire off an event, catch a webhook, do some automatic translation, and then you can have done. And maybe after done, you have a review, and maybe then you have a publish. That's an example of flow. So it's pretty quick to create a flow, even with spelling mistakes. And it allows you to orchestrate the item actually in multiple flows. So I can do here, let's say, I'll do one of these dark color. What I can do is go here and manage this document, and I can send it to flow, and I can send it to translation to check. And you see that the Norwegian translation don't pop up here. And then we can see that this is here. So that you can manage, actually it's the same product, but we're having it in multiple flows because it's typically different people that would translate to Norwegian or whatever language you're translating to. So pretty quick to set up, and you can already use it without hooking in the webhooks. But of course, once you hook in the webhooks, that's when you really get some powerful automation there. And I guess that's pretty much the round trip. This is the initial release of flows. Do we have some stuff already lined up for the future here, Peter? Or
Yeah, I think so. I think when you are creating the new flow, I think that's a nice point where we could show that right now we can only add one type of stage, right?
Yep.
We create or edit the flow. Right now we have only one type of stage, which is basically listening to the webhooks, right? But in future there will be different types doing different things. For example, scheduling events, publishing, and this kind of stuff. So there will be more options. Also, right now we only have one type of flows, right? But in future there will be also different types of flows for different operations as well.
Yeah. And when you're talking about stages, it's mainly to make it quicker and easier to do very common stages like publish, unpublish, because now you have to hook this up to a webhook and then actually use the API to publish. So there's some improvements there in the future, and also I think interesting with the different types of flows, because this is item flow. So products, documents, or folders you can send to this. Would be nice to be able to send assets also. So whenever there's a new image uploaded, it goes to a flow, maybe fire off an event to hook up some image AI to automatically classify, add topics, things like this. So this will definitely get the multiple iterations, but it's already available. Check it out. See what you can come up with in terms of different types of operations that you can orchestrate. Do join our Slack channel, and since you watched this far, you should hit the subscribe button, as they say, so we get more subscribers on the channel. And yeah, I guess see you in the next one. We will do another live stream next week, and that will also be an exciting topic. Check it out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.